There's something horribly wrong with the English teaching industry. It's 2023 when you can literally get your phone and check any sort of information, including grammar rules and the way grammar works, a lot of example sentences, in less than 3 seconds. Yet the majority of struggling English students still spend most of their time collecting information instead of trying to use that information to improve their English fluency skills. The problem is most English teachers don't teach you fluency. They don't help you speak English more fluently by explaining to you grammar rules, making you translate sentences, or memorize word lists. If you're looking to improve your fluency in English, the fastest way to reach your English goals isn't to listen to more teachers' explanations, whether it's on a live, a video, or in a real classroom environment, because they are doing the work of practicing the language instead of demonstrating how the language works and help you. I'm going to talk about the magic keyword later on, but help you use the grammar with more confidence. So in this video, it's time for me to help you understand why you might understand a lot of English, but you might be unable to speak English fluently using the same vocabulary that you seemingly understand when you hear it, and why the students in my community are making much faster progress with their English fluency than people in most traditional English courses. If you're looking at grammar rules or lists of words, maybe you even read some articles or listen to something in English, maybe listen to songs, but you aren't able to speak English fluently, you're not learning English. You're studying English. And if there's something I learned that helped me learn to speak English fluently and confidently as a Hungarian native speaker by the age of 20, was that fluency is a skill we get better at by doing it, and it's not a subject to study. Most struggling English students spend most of their time learning English observing English. It's basically like going to the gym because you want to get fitter and watching your personal trainer doing the workouts, demonstrating the activities the whole hour. How would you learn to do the workout that way? And if you never thought about the difference between studying English as a subject and learning English as a skill, you're not alone. We all spend more than 10 years in formal education in schools, where we focus so much on memorizing information that we think memorizing more information is eventually what's going to help us speak English better. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Because if it was true, everyone who now has access to the internet or could buy 100,000 books in English would speak English fluently. Unfortunately, about 80-90% of the content I see on social media, sometimes I scroll through TikTok lives and I see teachers spending hours and hours explaining the same grammar structures, giving the same grammar lessons and translating sentences. Again, would you learn to build muscles or to get fit if all you did was spending time looking at your personal trainer explaining to you how the different muscles of the body work or how to do the different activities theoretically? It's never about the amount of time you spend learning English if you're looking to find the fastest way to reach your English goals. It's more about the quality of your learning. If your focus is on remembering and expressing yourself the best way possible with a wide range of vocabulary and grammar and speak English confidently with other people in a conversation, there is a crucial element to learning that helps you automatically pull things out of your head that unfortunately many teachers don't teach. Sometimes they don't even know about. And if they, the experts, don't tell you about this, no wonder you're struggling with trying to figure out what you've been doing wrong about learning English. Sorry, studying English. Welcome back to this channel. My name is Chubby. I'm an English fluency, learning and language anxiety coach, and this is a channel for serious English learners who want to learn how to make more vocabulary more memorable and how to speak English more freely, comfortably and confidently with the help of improving their listening and their spoken interaction. So these are topics you're into, you'd like to find out more about, you'd like to learn how to learn faster, how to learn more effectively. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get weekly updates, long short form videos on anything related to confidence, speaking, fluency, vocabulary or listening. First, let's see how my students got results like this.
I started building up my confidence.
After a month
in the community. I was able to express myself much better.
Just after a few weeks I was in the program, I started thinking in English.
I started talking English without hesitation.
I feel more confident. I can talk with my classmates.
Before we jump in, if you're looking to understand more about how listening to English will eventually help you speak English more fluently, in this video I tell you more about this and how I did it in the past. And if you're looking for practical activities that will help you speak English with better grammar or express yourself with a wider range of vocabulary, check out this video. If you've been learning English for the past few years, and if you've probably even taken a course but you didn't really see the results in your fluency, let alone in your confidence in talking to people on the street, and you'd like to reach a good level of English where you can communicate clearly and freely and express yourself with a wide range of vocabulary, there's nothing more important for you to understand what may have gone wrong about your English learning experience in the past few years and the reason you might still be making the same mistakes, why it's still a struggle for you to put sentences together, why you might feel like you've been going backwards because you haven't seen much progress with your fluency, and why you might still struggle with putting your thoughts into words and those words into beautiful sentences. And it's all because of lack of processing the language. Again, imagine you're taking classes with a personal trainer at the gym because you want to get fitter. Any gym workout involves moving your muscles, and there is a certain series of actions you need to take in order for you to do that workout properly. In which case would you practice getting fitter and fitter and then reach the fitness you want by the end of the process? If your personal trainer spends the whole hour that you guys spend together explaining the different muscles, how they work, the theory of how that workout is supposed to help you, or if your personal trainer spends time explaining the process, tells you exactly what you need to do, what you need to pay attention to get the best results out of every activity you do, because you have a limited amount of time to spend on your fitness, but spends most of the time having you going through those series of movements. And it might be a bit challenging at the beginning for you to lift up your arm or to remember the next step in the whole process. You might also constantly worry about not getting it right, probably get exhausted faster, but the only way you're going to get better and better at doing that workout is if you do the workout. No matter how slowly you do it, no matter how much you seem to be struggling, the more you practice, the more you automatize that workout. So eventually you end up knowing all the steps, remembering everything, and then doing that workout properly to improve your fitness. The same thing happens when we are processing a language. When it comes to training your fluency, it's all about getting better and better and better at putting those different sequences of words and sentences together so you can express yourself more freely. The first major mistake that students and teachers alike make, and the opposite of doing that, was what actually helped me build my confidence, helped me speak more fluently, make fewer mistakes, and speak without hesitation, was that they don't teach English to you through listening. Humans are mainly processing language through listening. Reading helps a lot with vocabulary and grammar and stuff like that, but imagine improving your pronunciation or your listening skills without ever spending any time listening to spoken English. Ever since I was about 16 or 17, I'm not sure, I started to get really into learning English the real way, the serious way. And I spent a lot of my time watching the news or watching series, sometimes movies, playing games in English. I just loved the English pronunciation. I loved how English sounded. I loved how it was spoken, so I got hooked. And even though I was studying a lot for every day at high school, I still found time to watch something in English, usually series, on my laptop, hiding under my duvet because I didn't want my mum to notice that the lights were still on and I was not sleeping. But I wasn't just watching those series, I was curious about the grammar, the pronunciation, and the vocabulary, so the language features of what the characters were saying, and that slowly helped me speak English And that, combined with the opportunities I found to have conversations with other people, slowly helped me speak English naturally. It's natural for us humans to listen to sentences for their meaning. When I tell you to keep watching this video, you're going to keep watching this video. You're not going to analyze that there is ing after keep, so you don't go into the grammar. And I hope you'll get this, because this is one of the most important things you will learn today about how to build your fluency and your confidence along with it. So if I told you the sentence, the key to improving your English fluency is partly to double down a lot on listening skills, you're probably like, oh, I've never really thought about that. I should definitely focus a lot more on my listening skills. But if we go into the details, the grammar, the vocabulary of that sentence, we'll discover a lot more things that you might not have noticed. Things like the verb improve is actually in the ing, in the gerund form, because of the expression key to. So after key to, we need to use any verb in the ing form. And if we go further, I don't know if you even noticed that this is a cool phrasal verb for you to start using. And I don't know how actively you're using this phrasal verb, double down on in your everyday life. Focusing on grammar to drastically improve your fluency is like focusing on the workout activity in the gym. You pay attention to the steps, you pay attention to how to lift your arms, you're focusing on the right movements. Just like when you're learning grammar, you're trying to pay full attention to how the grammar works. You engage that grammar in your brain, you exercise your brain to remember that grammar structure or the vocabulary learning, and that's how you'll eventually be automatizing it. So you can always access it whenever you have conversations with other people. Paying really close attention to the grammar, the vocabulary, the pronunciation features of what the characters or the narrator is saying in videos or in the interviews, the podcasts, the series that we are watching with my students is what helps my students improve their grammar and also speak with a wide range of vocabulary, make much fewer mistakes, hesitate less, speak more naturally, because we've practiced those expressions and those grammar structures so much. Of course, if you just stopped watching this video and went about your life, you probably wouldn't remember how to use key to and ing, or how to use the phrasal verb double down on. And you'd miss out on the fastest way to reach your English goals, my unique method that helps my students remember vocabulary in the long term, which is systematically reviewing things so they can automatize language that is available to them at any time. Recently, on our Speaking Booster classes inside my program, the Proficiency Fortress, we've had a look at advanced ways to compare things with each other. And we've looked at a few examples of these structures in the context of world cuisine, like food in Malaysia is way cheaper than Europe, or habanero is a touch spicier than jalapeno, or vodka is miles stronger than sake. Eating with chopsticks is not nearly as complicated as eating with knives and forks. And if you're looking for various highly effective activities that will help you improve your fluency, expand your vocabulary, and understand fast English speakers, check out my free 14-day learning plan currently available in the first link in the description below, and get access to 14 days of fluency training with me. Now, my students have heard these expressions, these structures, in a lot of example sentences in the same topic. They've engaged their brain in actively learning these phrases so they can stay in their mind, that they can always refer back to. And we practice them a lot in conversations around food, so they have something to connect the grammar structures to. But we don't spend a whole class practicing these things because it literally makes no sense. You probably know that the fastest way to reach your English goals is the consistent way. Processing language so that you can have access to it and you could speak automatically using those grammar structures, using the vocabulary, pronouncing words the way you practiced a lot takes time. So reviewing grammar and vocabulary instead of going to the next grammar, learning the next expression, focusing on the newest idiom is key. But most struggling English students have no idea how to review. Reviewing vocabulary isn't just looking at your notes, looking through the list of vocabulary you wrote, reading through them just to check off a list, because how is vocabulary going to stay in your head in the long term and become accessible in any conversation you need it in that way? By passively reading through a list of vocabulary, you're not creating a memory that then you could use in a conversation to refer back to. It's like trying to plant an apple tree in the desert and expecting it to grow. It's the wrong strategy. And if you check out this video, you're going to find out about some of the most effective ways I was learning and reviewing vocabulary so I remember vocabulary and grammar whenever I was speaking English. One of the many reviewing vocabulary remembering strategies I teach to my students inside my courses in my program, and it's something that helped me a lot when I was learning new structures or new vocabulary, was spending 5 to 10 minutes reviewing vocabulary or the grammar structures I wanted to practice 2 or 3 times a day. And basically I was thinking about situations that I could imagine using that grammar or that vocabulary in. Let's say I had a class on those advanced ways of comparing things and I want to practice those comparatives. I'm currently staying in Tokyo, so I could easily say things like traveling to South Korea is miles cheaper than traveling to Morocco, or there are way more people living in Tokyo than in the countryside of Japan. And it's not about the complexity of the topic, it's the frequency of reviewing the vocabulary in real context that is relevant to your life. One thing we do with my students that help them speak English, use those structures with more confidence, is to go back to the same structures, reviewing them by using those grammar structures. And again, the emphasis is on using and engaging with the grammar in different contexts. For example, previously we learned different ways to talk about your habits at an advanced level. So we combined that with practicing and reviewing expressions we use to compare things with each other. So we could come up with sentences like, I would wake up way earlier when I was a high school student. Since I got the promotion, my life is a touch less busy and I picked up new hobbies. 9 times out of 10, I feel miles more relaxed when I speak English to my colleagues now. In Europe, I was prone to getting sick not nearly as often as here in Asia. The keter, and if you've been paying close attention to what I was explaining to you about the expression keter and what form of the verb we use with it, you can probably anticipate what verb I'm going to use, what form I'm going to use the verb in, understanding how processing grammar and processing vocabulary, probably the fastest way to reach your English goals works, is gradually moving from actively, attentively listening to the same structures, sentences with the same grammar that you want to get better at, or similar vocabulary, just like you would start copying your personal trainer doing the workouts instead of just passively watching them, and then doing engaging activities with them to have high quality learning, activities that make your brain work. There are several of them that I teach my students that really help them improve their vocabulary and remember vocabulary in conversations as well. I shared with you one today. And of course, by the end of that process, using grammar and vocabulary in real conversations with other people multiple times until they get more comfortable with it. Now, what did you learn in today's video? Was this concept of processing a language something new to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have any questions, this might be a bit of a challenge for you to understand if this is the first time you hear about processing the language. I'm always here for support or anything you need help with, so do let me know. Thank you so much again for your attention. I appreciate you and your loyalty to get to the end of this video and hope to see you in another one.